Have you ever felt invisible, like your life doesn't count, like no one notices your pain or your struggles? Perhaps doors shut, dreams have been put on hold, and you've wondered if you wound up here by mistake. Well, let me tell you something, God did not make a mistake. Each tear you've cried, each setback, each struggle you've endured was deliberate. God handpicked you. He put you where you're at for a purpose. All the closed doors, all the waiting, all the battles are part of a bigger God-directed plan than you can even see today. Your life is important, your presence is important, and your tale is not over. We tend to downplay how important the moment is. We glance about at our situation, the individuals in our lives, the difficulties we encounter, and we persuade ourselves that we arrived here by chance. We believe perhaps life simply casually positioned us here, that the doors we stepped through were accidents, or that the individuals we encountered were by chance. The reality is significantly deeper, however. God has a plan, a purpose, and an intentional design for each chapter of your life, and He placed you there on purpose. You are not here by accident. Each breath that you breathe, each step that you take, each choice that you get to make, God is orchestrating it. The second you catch yourself wondering why you're there, wondering why you matter, wondering why you exist, is the exact moment that God desires you to recall. He has chosen you. The enemy would like for you to believe that you don't matter. He would like for you to think that you've fallen into your life circumstances by accident, that you are in the wrong place, that you are not important. That lie is ongoing, and it whimpers in the innermost moments of uncertainty. When you feel like you are not doing it right, when you feel like no one sees you, when you wonder if your efforts are making a difference, the enemy hopes to remind you that God has forgotten you. But the reality is that God does not err. He doesn't lose people, and He doesn't forget moments. All the circumstances of your life are meaningful, and all the experiences are in His plan. Reflect upon how God operates in the Bible. He never leaves those whom He has chosen to run about in confusion. He chooses, places, and trains. Take Moses. He did not stumble into leading Israel out of Egypt. Each experience, from being put into a basket as a baby, growing up in the palace of Pharaoh, fleeing to the desert, was God's plan. Even when Moses considered himself less than adequate, even when he questioned his own worthiness, God had already appointed him to a task. And just as Moses, you might feel unprepared, overwhelmed, or unsure of your station, but God's selection isn't based on your preparation, it's based on His intention. Being picked by God is not perfection. It's not about being the most intelligent, the most powerful, or the most competent. It's about being available, about being willing to trust Him, about being receptive to the work He is doing in and through you. Your past failures, your mistakes, your imperfections, these do not disqualify you. In fact, God often elects those that the world has deemed unfit because He wants to show His power through weakness. Your existence then becomes a testament to His power, a living testimony that God's decision is not according to human rationality, but divine design. Each obstacle you encounter, each setback, each closed door, each rejection is part of God's planning. He selects you not for who you are right now, but for who He will make you to be. Your situations may seem random, but they are not. Your present surroundings, your relationships, the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of you, they are all heavenly timed to hone you, to make you stronger, and to set you up for the purpose He has called you to. God is never taken aback by your situation. He designed it years ago, before you came onto the scene. It's simple to question your position when you see what's going on around you. You compare yourself to others, you notice individuals who appear more gifted, more prosperous, or luckier, and you question why you are here, why you were selected, why your tale is slower, more challenging, or quieter. But God's choice isn't comparative. He does not select in keeping with the world. He selects in accordance with His agenda. Your path is your own. Your timing is not only perfect, but it is also in accordance with God's purpose. You are in the exact place you should be, doing precisely what you have been called to do, no matter how unglamorous, easy, or quick it may not seem. God's selection also involves responsibility. When He chooses you, He prepares you, empowers you, and directs you. You have not been chosen to stand still or to live in vain. You are selected to continue, to make a difference, to inspire, and to complete a purpose only you can complete. Each gift, each talent, each opportunity you have been afforded is part of the proof that God deliberately placed you for something greater than yourself. You are not by chance. You are a vessel, a light, a beacon, and an image of God's purpose. Doubt will arise, but it will not trump God's decision. Those times you are feeling less than worthy, unable, or forgotten are exactly the times you need to be reminded that God's decision is intentional. He does not leave His elect behind. He does not misjudge lives. He does not miss hearts. You are selected not for what you have done, but for who He is and for the purpose He has in mind for your life. Accepting God's selection enables you to get through in doubt, to accept trials in faith, and to keep going even when the road ahead is not sure. You are selected to leave a mark. You are needed. Your deeds, your words, your faith, and your endurance all play a part in the narrative God is authoring. All the tears you have wept, all the difficulties you have encountered, all the nights of fear and discouragement are part of the preparation that verifies God's selection. Like the heroes of faith who have preceded you, your selection by God is not based on circumstances. It is rooted in divine will. Your life matters. Your testimony carries substance, and your purpose is inevitable. So even when life gets crazy, even when the journey gets fuzzy, and even when you are wondering how in the world you got to where you are, know this: you are not here by chance. God picked each step you've walked, each obstacle you've faced, each individual you've met, each door that opened and closed. All of them are part of His intentional plan. He has scripted you into this moment, and He will keep leading, disciplining, and empowering you as you live the purpose for which you were called. Every door that was closed to you, every delay, every hindrance you encounter is not coincidence. We tend to look at life and view failures, disappointments, and setbacks as proof that we are on the wrong path, that we are forgotten, that we are irrelevant. But the reality is that each test you face is a part of God's intentional plan for your life. When things in life seem to be pushing back, it is not necessarily a rejection, perhaps a redirection, a preparation, a building of your character and faith. All the delays, all the no's, and all the difficulties are intentional. God is taking these times to prepare you, to make you strong, and to place you right where He needs you. Delays are hardest to take because they leave us feeling powerless. We pray, we labor, we hope, and yet the timing of our breakthrough appears to linger. We find ourselves questioning, is God even listening? Did He forget me? But God's timing is divine. What appears to be delay is not denial. It is the divine, careful planning of God, ensuring that when the doors open at last, you are prepared to walk through them with the strength, wisdom, and clear thinking necessary to carry out your purpose. The waiting time is a heavenly workshop. It is the place where patience is developed, faith is strengthened, and trust in God's plan is solidified. Each hindrance you experience is a test, not a termination. When you experience opposition, it usually is an indication that God is getting ready to promote you, that He is equipping you for a bigger task. The devil wishes to make you think that the fight is too intense, that the road is closed, that you are inadequate. But opposition does not determine your destiny, it uncovers it. The higher the calling, the stronger the resistance. Each problem you face is a sign of importance, a demonstration that God's hand is upon your life. God's plan is oftentimes veiled in the test. What appears as failure can be formation. In fact, each misstep, every broken heart, Every instance of disappointment is molding you into the individual you must be for the assignment God has set on your life. Joseph's life was a perfect illustration. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, accused falsely, in jail, each of those painful steps led him closer to his destiny of rescuing a nation. The missteps were not the end, they were preparation. God's hand was working in the background, orchestrating every detail so that Joseph's faithfulness and strength could be utilized for a far greater good. You need to learn to perceive your difficulties through God's eyes, not yours. We are prone to call obstacles punishment, errors, or dead ends. But God is the one who sees the larger picture. He is constantly operating behind the scenes, coordinating events, circumstances, and individuals to bring about His purpose. What seems random to you is deliberate to Him. Each closed door is a setup for the next door. Each rejection is a rerouting to something greater. And each failure is a lesson that prepares you for the next level of your journey. It is simple to become discouraged when others seem to advance more quickly, accomplish more, or suffer less difficulty. Comparison distorts our vision and leads us to believe that our journey is defective. But God's selection and timing are special for every individual. Your path cannot be compared to another person's progress. You possess your own tale, your own vocation, and your own timing. What you notice in other people is not the scale of your worth or mission. You have to have faith that God is working in your life, even if it appears slower, tougher, or more complex than you expected. Faith is needed in the waiting. To trust God amidst obstacles is not passive, but active faith in His promise. When you do not see the end, when doors are shut, when circumstances are puzzling or even painful, faith instructs you to press on, to believe on, and to trust on. Faith reminds you that God is not accidental, that He is actively working, and that He has selected you for a reason. You are not lost, forsaken, or insignificant. You are exactly where God wants you to be. And any hindrance is proof that He is staging something greater than what you can currently see. God frequently employs obstacles to develop resilience and perseverance. The problems of life are not meaningless roadblocks. They are crises for developing character, patience, and stamina for your destiny. The greater your faith in the midst of the storm, the greater your effectiveness when the storm is over. God's work in you throughout trials prepares you to execute your purpose in wisdom, strength, and influence. The trials are not detours. They are part of the journey. Obstacles also build empathy and understanding. When you have experienced difficulties, disappointments, and setbacks, you are able to minister, encourage, and serve others in ways that would be impossible to do without that experience. Your adversity reconstituted story becomes a platform for influence. The pain you suffer is not wasted. It is preparation for impact. God puts us in a position not only to succeed over adversity, but to also be vessels of hope, strength, and inspiration for others who are going through the same thing. Every failure is a call to have faith in God's timing. Each door shut is a reminder that He has the bigger picture. Each adversity is proof you are chosen and placed for something big. Just as the people of faith who came before you, your walk is one of preparation, polishing, and divine positioning. You are not where you are accidental. Each delay, each setback, each battle is purposeful. God is penning your tale with accuracy, intention, and authority, and the chapters that are most painful are the very chapters that will frame your testimony. Deepen your faith and validate His selection in you. Pain and suffering are never arbitrary in the life of a man or woman whom God has chosen. So many times we look at what we are going through, the disappointments, the betrayal, the struggles, and we question whether they make sense, whether they were errors, or whether we were just unlucky. But the reality is that God takes every difficulty to shape, mold, and prepare us for the purpose He has planned. Every test is on purpose. All adversity is intentional. The same situation that seems to be unbearable at times is usually the fire through which our faith, endurance, and integrity are tested. When God picks a person, He does not bypass them from experiencing hardness. Rather, he prepares them through hardships to achieve their mission with strength and wisdom that would be impossible any other way. It is quick to feel overlooked when things don't work out the way you thought they would. When prayers you prayed were seemingly not answered, or when the doors you thought would open are stuck fast. However, God's selection is not based upon the tangible outcomes or instantaneous results. Even if the breakthrough is yet to occur, this does not mean that it won't ever. God is always working in the background, arranging things, coordinating people, and timing events to perfection. The setbacks and delays are not evidence of abandonment, but a part of the process to make sure that when your time of triumph arrives, it would be perfectly in sync with His plan and purpose for your life. Think about how God works through setbacks. What looks like failure is usually a setup. Each challenge is deliberately positioned to provide lessons, foster patience, and uncover underlying strength. The life of Joseph is a prime example. Sold as a slave, betrayed by his brothers, wrongly imprisoned for a crime he had not committed, Joseph might have perceived each episode as evidence that God was through with him. But God had a plan unfolding all along. Each difficulty was a stepping stone, grooming him for the time he would ascend to a place of power, rescuing countries, and achieving God's will in his life. As Joseph, the difficulties you go through are not the end of your book. They are the launching pad for what is next. Pain also teaches us our need for God. When things are going well, when things are easy, we can be tempted to trust in our own strength, our own wisdom, and our own ability. But it is often in the midst of struggle, in times of trials, that we are reminded of our need for God's guidance, God's provision, and God's strength. God utilizes hardship to make us more dependent on Him, to instruct us in humility, and to make sure that our triumphs are never all about us, but about His strength acting through us. Being God's chosen does not imply no hardship. It implies that in every hardship, there is His presence available to direct, strengthen, and support us. Every hardship you experience is also a purifying process. Fire cleanses gold, and pressure creates diamond. God employs the tests in your life to shape your character, to cleanse you of impurities, and to ready you for the duties of your calling. The trials that befall you are not intended to conquer you. They are designed to make you stronger. Each tear, each disappointment, each doubt is an instrument in the hands of God, molding you into a person who can do His will. The struggle is never lost when it is offered to God. In addition, troubles give us perspective and sympathy. Suffering enables us to minister to others in ways comfort and privilege cannot. Once you have experienced rejection, loss, or hardship, you have the capacity to empathize with, encourage, and help others who are experiencing similar tribulation. Your own experiences serve as a bridge of hope, a witness of faith, and an inspiration. God has the prerogative of putting us through tribulation so that we may be a light to others. The actual pain that seemed too much becomes a vehicle by which His glory and plan become known. Adversity breeds faith, believing God when things do not appear to be going our way, when doors are shut, or when plans fall through, builds faith muscle. Faith is not just trusting God when things are going as planned, but trusting Him when the outcome is unclear. Each challenge is an opportunity to increase spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. The day you learn to trust God in adversity is the day you set yourself up for breakthrough. The challenges you encounter are a part of God's plan to equip you for more influence, impact, and authority. It is also crucial to realize that resistance is an indicator of significance. In many cases, the devil attacks, the opposition grows, and the journey gets tougher specifically because you are on the right path. God permits resistance as a validation that you are bearing a calling that counts. The higher the calling, the higher the opposition. Each obstacle, each effort to detour you, each time of tribulation is proof that God is about to raise you to a place that will achieve His divine purpose. Resistance is not an indicator that you are losing. It is a testament that what you are moving toward is worth struggling for. Preparation through hardship guarantees that when your breakthrough arrives, you will be able to manage it with wisdom, humility, and grace. God's choice is not arbitrary, and His plans are never untimely. He provides times of preparation so that not only are you ready to receive the blessings, but you are also prepared to manage them appropriately. All the trials are deliberate, all the delays intentional, and every hindrance part of a process that assures the fulfillment of His promises in your life. Your trials are preparing you to bear God's vision, to fulfill His calling, and to affect the world around you in ways you could not without preparation. Being chosen by God is also being given the responsibility. All talents, all gifts, all opportunity are provided so you can achieve your purpose and glorify Him. Struggles are not to bring you down, they are to construct you. Each challenge you win enhances your ability to lead, to persuade, and to be a witness of God's power and faithfulness. The life you live, the situations you are confronting, and the challenges you are going through are all in the divine plan. You are selected not to stand still, but to grow, to serve, and to leave an abiding mark. Lastly, the hurt that you feel reminds you of God's presence and purpose. Even when you feel most alone, even when things seem most impossible, God is with you. He is working behind the scenes, coordinating events, and orchestrating outcomes that are far beyond your ability to understand. Nothing is wasted. Each difficulty, each tear, each struggle, each setback is molding you, making you stronger, and preparing you for a destiny much grander than the challenges you are going through right now. Resistance is usually the strongest indication that God's hand is upon your life. When doors shut suddenly, when people push back against you, when situations seem to be piling up against you, it is not always a demonstration of failure or abandonment. Rather, it is a sign that you are entering into a season of importance, that your life holds a purpose that the enemy does not want to recognize, and God is putting you right where you should be. Persecution is not an indication that you are in the wrong place. It is a sign that you are in the right place. The higher the call, the more violent the resistance, and the longer the struggle, the bigger the purpose that lies ahead. The enemy is never greater than God's plan. All attempts to discourage you, all resistance, all obstacles are circumscribed by God's power. When you encounter resistance, it challenges you to deal with your dependence on Him. It brings out the weaknesses, fears, and doubts within, but it also calls forth the strength, courage, and faith that can only emerge through trial. Resistance is a purifying process. It stretches your faith, tests your stamina, and primes you for the miracles God has already decided are in store for you. Consider the narratives of the Bible. Every hero of faith faced resistance, opposition, and doubt, yet they fulfilled their destinies because God's choice and plan for their lives were unstoppable. Moses faced Pharaoh's defiance, David faced Goliath, Esther faced the threat of death, Paul faced imprisonment and persecution. Each of them encountered resistance, but resistance did not define them. Faith and perseverance did. And as with them, your difficulties are not designed to hinder you. They are designed to uncover your potential, strengthen your character, and establish your calling. Resistance also has the ability to uncover who you really are. During difficult times, your real character will be evident. Comfort does not challenge perseverance, adversity does. Opposition brings out fear and doubt, but also brings out courage, resilience, and faith. It shows you that God has already given you all that you need to accomplish your purpose. The challenges that come your way are not to destroy you. They are to bring out the potential in you that can only be released through adversity. Pressure is preparation. As a muscle gains strength through resistance, so does your spiritual muscle and character gain strength under pressure. Life will fight back against you, but the fight back is not haphazard. It is intentional to prepare you for the size of your calling. Every obstacle, every failure, every struggle is a proving ground. Pressure comes from God because He knows it will stretch you, strengthen you, and equip you for the responsibilities and opportunities that are coming. Resistance is proof that God is moving in ways you cannot yet perceive, molding you for a purpose much larger than the present conflict. When resistance does come, perspective matters. It is simple to interpret opposition as failure, but a God-centered perspective interprets resistance as affirmation. The devil strikes where there is potential, where there is influence, and where there is destiny. Your challenges aren't coincidental. No, they're deliberate, meant to challenge your faith, build your resolve, and prepare you for making a difference. The very conditions that seem like failures are really setups for success. Resistance is a cue that you're headed in the right direction toward the purpose God has put upon your life. Faith is strengthened by resistance. Believing God when things are not going well, when others don't believe in you, and when doors continue to close, builds resilience and unshakable faith. Resistance builds endurance. It builds patience. It teaches you to look to God and not yourself. Each time you overcome a difficulty, it is a testament to the faithfulness of God and an evidence that God's selection of you is not reversible. Your tale is not characterized by the resistance you encounter, but by the persistence, faith, and trust you show in the face of it. Resistance also teaches humility. It reminds you that you cannot depend on your own strength, wisdom, or timing. Each barrier presents a chance to surrender, to have faith in God's plan, and to let His power work in you. Humility sets you up for leadership, influence, and impact. Those who encounter struggles and let God lead them become stronger, wiser, and more effective at living their purpose. Resistance is not merely a challenge, it is a teacher, a coach, and a guide that molds you into the individual God intended you to be. In addition, opposition creates resilience that prepares you to face challenges yet to come. Life is not always linear, and the work that God has called upon your life will come with seasons of struggle. The pushback you're experiencing today is positioning you for the breakthroughs, wins, and impact that lie ahead. Each challenge is a dry run for the breakthroughs, victories, and influence that are waiting for you. Your patience, endurance, and faith are being tested, made strong and polished, so that when the door opens, you are equipped to walk through it in full ability. Lastly, resistance validates your importance. The devil strikes where there is potential, where there is power, and where there is destiny. The very fact that you have opposition is proof that God has called you, that He has a plan for you, and that your life counts. Resistance is not failure. It's evidence that what you are moving toward is worthy of pursuit. Each shut door, each delay, each doubt is a sign that God is working on something greater than the picture you see at the moment. Your calling is genuine, your purpose significant, and your story is yet to be told. Every story God starts writing is on purpose. Your life is not a coincidence, and the events that you go through are not by chance. You can glance at your present situation and ask yourself why things are not moving quicker, why doors are shut, or why advancement is slow. But God's vision is much broader than yours. He sees the end from the beginning, and He has already mapped out the direction of your life. You are here by accident, and each step you take is guided by a divine hand. Even when the road ahead is uncertain, even when problems appear insurmountable, God is operating in the background, aligning everything for good and His glory. Your being here counts. Every individual you encounter, every door that opens, and every moment of influence you have is not by chance. You are not put on this planet to be bland, to go unnoticed, or to passively exist. God chose you to do something that only you can. Your history, your experiences, your failure, and your success all become part of the grander work that God is authoring. When you realize this, your life becomes a witness, not only to survival, but to divine purpose and design. Perhaps one of the greatest things about being chosen by God is realizing that you are created to be influential. You may feel small in your work, in your family, or in your community, but the truth is that your life touches more people than you know. Every act of trust, every moment of obedience, and every choice that lines up with God's will has ripple effect beyond what you know. The daily moments that you go through are usually preparation for tremendous impact. God puts you in places not only for you, but so others can see His work in you. Trust is needed in seeing and accepting your calling. You have to have faith that God's plan is working, even when you can't see the entire picture. Patience is built waiting, and endurance is built in struggle. Your chapter of now, however unclear or challenging it is a part of the process to find fulfillment in your calling. The time of waiting is not lost. It is shaping. Each delay, each door that is shut, each test is making you ready for a time of influence, blessing, and breakthrough that will validate God's selection in your life. To know God has chosen you is to accept your identity. All too often, we define our value based on accomplishments, titles, or praise. But God's selection isn't founded on your performance. It's founded on His purpose. Your worth is intrinsic because He foresees your potential and has prepared you to be a part of a special role. Once you embrace that you are chosen, you start to move into confidence, courage, and boldness that can't be shaken by failure, criticism, or opposition. Your faith in God carries you through when the world is not sure. Each situation you face makes your testimony stronger. The hurdles, disappointments, and setbacks in your life are not signs that God has forgotten about you. They are signs that you are being prepared for something greater. When you get through hard times, when you keep having faith, when things are uncertain, and when you keep on serving in spite of problems, your testimony is a strong witness. Others will observe God's faithfulness because of your perseverance, and your life will be a living witness of what occurs when a person chosen by God lives out their purpose. The impact of a chosen life goes beyond individual success. When God chooses a person, He sets them up to affect families, communities, and nations. The things you learn, the power you receive, and the knowledge you gain are not intended to be kept to yourself. Your tale becomes a source of hope, encouragement, and change in the lives of others. The meaning of your life is multiplied because God's selection is never only about the one person. It always encompasses the many, spreading ripples of change far beyond what you can perceive. Resistance and pushback will appear, but they are not signs that you are deviating from course. In fact, they often confirm that you are on the right path. The enemy fights against what has potential, against what has value, and against what is chosen by God. Every challenge, every attack, every setback is a test of faith and a confirmation of purpose. When you break through resistance by trusting in God, your influence increases, your faith becomes stronger, and your testimony becomes a demonstration of God's power and sovereignty. Preparation is included in being called. Seasons of challenge, waiting, and adversity are not random. They are meant to prepare you for the fullness of your call. Each challenge offers a chance to grow skills, character, and resilience. God brings these formative experiences to bear so that when breakthrough and impact come, you are prepared. Preparation by adversity ensures that your ministry, your influence, and your achievements are based on strength, wisdom, and faith, not on haste or accident. Ultimately, knowing you are chosen necessitates action. You cannot just sit around waiting for life to occur. God's choice is a call to responsibility, a call to faithfulness, and a call to step into your destiny. Your actions, your obedience, and your commitment to living in alignment with God's plan determine how effectively His purposes are realized through your life. Your life is a statement that God's decision is flawless, that His purpose is immovable, and that the narrative He is penning is better than any challenge, delay, or obstacle in your path. You are not here by accident. You are elected, appointed, and enabled to achieve a narrative that only God had written. You are not here accidentally. Each test you have endured, each second of uncertainty, each door that closed was part of God's intentional plan to make you ready for the destiny He has scripted. God selected you not due to your history, not due to your capabilities, but due to whom He sees you can be through Him. The struggles, opposition, and setbacks you are facing are fine-tuning you, molding you, and preparing you for impact greater than you can even envision. Believing in God's selection enables you to endure adversity. Every obstacle, every resistance, and every period of waiting is a sign that you are on the right path. Opposition is not failure. It is an indicator of importance. God's hand is working even when you cannot discern it. Your suffering is not in vain. Your tears are not unseen. Your narrative is being written with care, purpose, and a divine hand. Do not forget that to be selected is a call with responsibility. You are now ready to inspire, to touch, and to influence others. Your path, with its difficulties and victories, is a witness to the faithfulness of God. You are a living witness that when God selects someone, no power, no failure, and no opposition can ruin God's plan. The chapters of your life that feel hard today are preparing you for the glory and purpose that await tomorrow. God's choice is unstoppable, and His plan for you is far greater than anything you can imagine. So stand strong, walk by faith, trust God's selection. You're not here by chance, and your chapter is only beginning. He's chosen you, and He's with you each step of the way.